Hello and welcome back to another episode of A Cozy Christmas Podcast. My name is Art. Happy Thanksgiving week, everyone. Along with today's episode, I'll have a very special Thanksgiving episode out on Thursday. I know on Thanksgiving Day itself, you might want to be spending time with family and all that. That's certainly something you should do. But if you need a fun and cozy conversation to help you drift off into that wonderful afternoon nap after stuffing yourself silly with turkey, well then you have found the right podcast. I'm going to have a special guest with us on Thursday. It's a name that you will recognize, and my guest will be Liz Ireland, who is the author of the Mrs. Claus Mystery Series. Now, we in the book club, we read her first book, Mrs. Claus and the Santaland Sleighs, and I think overall we all enjoyed it. But she's got a new book out. I think it's the fourth novel in the series. It's called Mrs. Claus and the Trouble with Turkeys, and it's set at Thanksgiving at the North Pole. So I am going to be starting reading it this week since it's Thanksgiving themed, so I thought I would read it the week of Thanksgiving. And I love reading her books at Christmas time. It's just a delightful series. I love it so much. It's such a good one. I'm looking forward to beginning the official kickoff to the Christmas season by reading this mystery book. So stay tuned for Thanksgiving. I will have the interview out. Of course, you can listen to it anytime you want. It'll be downloaded and available wherever you find podcasts. But today, I want to talk about a couple of things. First of all, I want to talk about eggnog. I don't know what makes eggnog so good. It could be there's a pinch of Christmas magic to it. It could be that it's a gift that Santa gives us every year at Christmas time. So I thought I would go to the experts and ask them what makes eggnog so delicious. And so my guest today, her name is Trisha Barton. She works at A&E Dairy, which is a company based here in Iowa that produces what I think is the best eggnog ever made. And believe me, I've tried a lot of eggnog. Nothing compares to what's put out at the A&E Dairy. And I loved finding out the story behind my favorite drink, the Christmas cheer that goes into making it, and a lot more about what goes on there at A&E. So I'll go ahead and play the interview now, and let's find out some more about eggnog. Welcome to the Cozy Christmas Podcast. Today I have a very special guest. Her name is Trisha Barton, and she's the marketing director at A&E Dairy. This is a company that keeps me supplied in eggnog throughout the year. And once it comes out in stores, I get really excited. So I wanted to have Trisha on today to talk about eggnog and talk about my favorite brand of eggnog. Trisha, welcome to the Cozy Christmas Podcast.
Thank you, Art. We really appreciate you giving us a chance to come and talk about the things that are near and dear to our heart, and eggnog is one of them.
That's right. Now, for those who live in Iowa and probably the surrounding Midwest area, A&E Dairy is a company very familiar to us. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and a little bit of the history of the company.
Well, I've been here about a year, so I've had to learn everything dairy. I don't have a dairy background, so it's been a really fun chapter of my career here. AE has this rich traditional history. It is a third generation company that started out, believe it or not, during the Great Depression, 1930. Ivor Erickson and his friend Andy started with $15,000 and just said that this is what they wanted to do. And they wanted to bring some great quality products from local family farms. And now we're in almost 100 years in, and they're doing things the same traditional ways that they always have. Quality is one of their time-honored traditions and their commitments to their customers. And so I think that that's really why the company has been around for so long. And the eggnog you love in particular has been around for 65 years. And when I say tradition, it truly is a tradition. It is the same way that they made it way back 65 years ago. So the same eggnog that you're tasting today is the same Erickson family recipe from 65 years ago.
I'm not sure, but I think in some of the ingredients there might involve Christmas magic. I don't know if you can confirm that, or is that a trade secret, or
It's not a trade secret. The magical part is, but there is some kind of magic that happens over there. I can confirm that when eggnog is being made in the plant, there is Christmas music being played in the plant. So it's a very festive time of the year for us. And we always know when eggnog is being made because we have all kinds of Christmas music from Michael Bublé to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Just it's a very festive time, and everybody's in a very good spirits during this time of year for us.
Oh, wonderful. No, that's fun to know. I'm glad I know that now. So next time I drink some eggnog, I'll be knowing that this has been in the presence of Christmas music first. So
I absolutely think that's part of the magic. Our CFO, he's always over there when to push the button when it happens. So it's kind of fun to be over there when it happens.
fun. Wow, that's great. Now I have loved eggnog since I was a kid, and I lived in Illinois for a few years. I lived out in Washington State for a while, and then I've been in Iowa. So I've been drinking eggnog all over, and I can confirm, I mean, you guys aren't paying me to say this or anything, but this is really, truly the best eggnog I've had. Christmas just doesn't seem right without it. And I'm sure you hear that a lot. I hope you hear that a lot.
We really do. Our eggnog has this very, I don't know how to describe it other than like a cult-like following. We have our own people that we get calls and we get emails. When is it coming out? Why can't you keep it all year round? And I appreciate people who want it year round. And if you had it year round, it wouldn't be special. And I think if it was Christmas every day, it wouldn't be special. You wouldn't have that special time of year that only then can you get it. However, I will say for those hardcore eggnog folks, you can freeze our eggnog. And so right before the end of the season, I always suggest that you go and buy some quarts and get them in your freezer and unthaw them during the course of the year so that you don't go through that eggnog withdrawal that we all know happens about March.
Yep. I have not tried that freezing. My family jokes that usually it doesn't last long enough to make it to the freezer. So
that's kind of like, yeah.
I got in trouble this last year because my wife kept buying eggnog, but the kids could never find any when they went to the fridge. And so I got kind of in trouble for drinking more than my fair share last year. So,
and that's okay, because even here at the plant, we have refrigerators that this is my refrigerator, this is your refrigerator. And we have taste tests every Thursday. And even for taste tests, we're having to put taste test in big black marker on it so that we know no one will take the one that we have been saving for taste test. So it happens in every household. It happens everywhere.
Oh, okay, good. I'm not alone in that then.
You're definitely not alone. It's in my house. It's like that too. So we have little drawers in our refrigerator that I'll put it behind the vegetables or something. Mm-hmm. So then they don't go looking there.
Yeah. We don't want to be around vegetables. Yeah.
We like those too. It's just, we like the eggnog better.
There you go. Recently, my doctor gave me some very bad news that my cholesterol is high, not dangerously high or anything. I'm not about ready to keel over, but he said, it's time to make some dietary changes. You were just telling me that there is if not a healthy option, there's at least a healthier alternative to just the straight eggnog that you guys produce. What can you tell me about that?
Absolutely. It's called Mimi's eggnog, and it is our classic eggnog with half and half with fat-free milk. and it has that same rich flavor, but it's a lot less fat and probably a little bit better for you than drinking as much eggnog as you have. So if you need to cut down a little bit on the nog, then maybe this would be a great option for you. And it comes in a half gallon instead of the quart. So you get more, it lasts more. So we like to call it our everyday eggnog. So if you were to partake in eggnog every day, this might be a great option for you, especially when you have to, when your physician is telling you to kind of cut down a little bit, and just keep the classic eggnog for maybe Christmas Eve or something like that.
Yeah, I tell you what, this time of year, you just don't even want to step on the scale, you know? So you're like, oh.
That's what January's for.
That's right. That's exactly right. One of the other things I love about eggnog is it's very versatile. I know my wife's parents like to add ginger ale to it to kind of dilute it down and make a kind of a punch. On Christmas morning, we will usually have French toast, and often we'll use eggnog as the milk part for French toast. I think I saw on the website that you had some recipes and stuff there too. Is there anything you'd recommend, like creative ways to use eggnog?
Oh, we have so many of them. But if people want to see your French toast, upside down French toast is one of our favorite and our best recipes that we have. And if you go to aedairy.com and go into the recipes and type eggnog in there, you'll come up with all the recipes that we have there. But the thing about the eggnog upside down French toast is that you make it the night before and then put it in the refrigerator and then bake it that morning. And so if you baked it Christmas morning or Thanksgiving morning, that smell would be wafting through the house. And so it's a great way to kind of prep and seem like you did a lot of work, but it really isn't all that much work. So we've got quite a few recipes there, but eggnog can really be used for any kind of liquid that you might be using in a recipe. You could substitute it for the milk in a frosting recipe. You could microwave it and put a cinnamon stick in it. You could use it in your coffee or tea to make like chai tea. Anything that any kind of recipe, the cinnamon rolls, you could really it just makes it a little bit more rich, a little bit, better. And with holiday punch, you could freeze it in trays and put it in your holiday punch so that it kind of mixes up with that holiday punch. And the funny thing is that it's funny that you say ginger ale, because I was asking Miriam Erickson Brown what some of her favorite holiday traditions were, and that was exactly hers. She used to remember when she was little that they would either put ginger ale or 7-Up or cream soda, and then they would get out the fancy stemware, and the kids would think that they were really fancy with this bubbly eggnog delicious concoction. So that was one of her family traditions that she says she always remembers, and it's always fun, and that they continue to do that with all the kids in the family too.
Yeah, we'll do that Christmas Eve if there's any eggnog left. But that was we have the nice china we'll get out, and the nice cups, and we'll have some eggnog and have some family fun time. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is that this time of year, if you are lucky enough to be somewhere where we are sampling, we're doing some sampling in some Fairways and Hy-Vees, and we're just starting up with Walmart again. If you see one of our testers out there, they actually have little booklets and little eggnog tips that they have a little tear off pad that you can go up and ask them for that. And then we have a little booklet with additional recipes. So if you see one of our AE people out there, they always have them in their bag. Just, stop by and ask, or if you would like, just go to our website and contact us. And I'm happy to mail it out if any of your folks would like one of these as well.
Well, I will definitely be contacting you then. Yeah, I have a feeling my doctor's not going to be too happy with me by January, but that's all right. Apparently, I still have some time to get things under control, so we're fine. It'll be fine.
It's all moderation, Go
Right.
for a walk, have a little glass, right?
That's right. That's
right. That's how life works.
Yeah, really, I think it probably comes down to moderation. So, yeah. Well, I really appreciate you giving me the time just to talk and to learn a little bit more about your company and all that goes on there. Before we go, I know you've probably got a busy day still. Can we talk just a little bit about Christmas traditions, whether it's either around the company or in your own family? What do you guys have coming up this year for Christmas that you're looking forward to?
Well, here at the dairy, it's always super busy. And so usually between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we always try to have lunches come in for the gals taking all of the orders. And we just try it. Sometimes we do secret Santas, we just try to keep it fun and festive here. And I know this would be bad for you, but we have a refrigerator here that we always get fresh A&E Dairy products, whether it be our cottage cheese or our yogurt or eggnog. We have a refrigerator back there that we can always just go back if we need a little break. And so that's always nice. And I just checked back there. There's some eggnog that I'm going to go have right after we get done here.
All right.
But, at home, I love Christmas, and it's a lot of people's favorite time of year, but I like it because everything seems a little bit brighter, a little bit warmer. People are in most part of a better mood, and it's just a festive time of year. And in our house, one of the things we like to do is on Christmas Eve, we like to watch The Grinch. They start off all gruff and they end up thinking about what the traditions and the magic of Christmas is. And it's really about family. It's about traditions. It's about making your traditions, no matter what they look like. It doesn't have to be what everybody else does. And traditions can also change. When you have little kids, you have different things than you do when they're older. But some of them never change. We still put carrots outside for the reindeer, and we still put cookies and milk right next to the chimney for Santa. So some of those traditions, whether or not we have small kids or big kids, we'll always do those things. And so that's really the part that I love, is that the magic of Santa, the magic of Christmas. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, my kids are older now. They're in their teens, and I have one in college. And even last year, we're still hanging up stockings on Christmas Eve. We're getting all excited, and they call me the biggest kid of all of us. So, and that's a badge I wear with honor. So
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Trisha, thank you again for taking the time to talk to me about eggnog. And if could you again just give us the information where we can find out more information about recipes and things for the eggnog?
Absolutely. It's aedairy.com. And you just go on there. It tells all about the products. It tells eggnog, everything about that. And then if you go to recipes, we have all kinds of recipes, not just for eggnog. We have it for everything. And I'll just remind everybody that our eggnog also comes in harvest pumpkin, which we're kind of rolling down now, and then we're going to go into the cold brew eggnog as well. So got some different options too if you're a coffee drinker and you would like that as well. So we've got lots of options, and you can find out more information on our website, and there's a contact button there. So if they have any kind of questions or information that they're looking for, we are happy. It'll be me answering the questions. So happy to answer anything for anyone.
Yeah, I completely forgot about the whole the harvest pumpkin nog you have, and then the coffee. It's already all done for you. So tis the season to gain weight, I guess, but it's worth it.
That's what January's for. January's are for New Year's resolutions and working out a little bit more. So
That's right. Yep. Take a month and celebrate the best time of year.
Absolutely.
Trisha, thank you so much. And to all of you folks there at Anderson Erickson, I know you guys have done a lot for even just the state of Iowa in a lot of ways. So thank you. And I hope you and yours have a very Merry Christmas.
You as well. Thank you so much for having us.
I want to read a poem called In Memoriam, or Ring Out Wild Bells. And it's by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Tennyson was a much loved, and still is to this day, a very beloved Victorian poet. He was born in August 6th, 1809 in Somersby, Lincolnshire in England. According to poets.org, he is the fourth of 12 children, holy cow, and showed an early talent for writing. As Tennyson grew up, his father began to suffer frequent mental breakdowns that were exacerbated by alcoholism. One of Tennyson's brothers had violent quarrels with his father. A second was later confined to an insane asylum, and another became an opium addict. So quite a tumultuous upbringing. And again, that quote is from poets.org. Anyway, there's a lot there you can read about him. He died on October 6th, 1892, and was buried in Westminster Abbey. But the reason I want to read this poem is it was the poem mentioned in our recent book club book, which is called Christmas by the Book by Anne-Marie Ryan. And this poem is woven throughout the story. Listen to the message of this poem that I think is extremely important for our world today as we are beginning the Christmas season with a lot of uncertainty ahead. I think there's some good reminders here. So I invite you to sit down by the Christmas fire, grab a cup of eggnog or a beverage of your choice, and I'll read In Memoriam or Ring Out Wild Bells by Alfred, Lord Tennyson. Ring out, wild bells, to the wild sky, the flying cloud, the frosty light. The year is dying in the night. Ring out, wild bells, and let him die. Ring out the old, ring in the new, ring happy bells across the snow. The year is going, let him go. Ring out the false, ring in the true. Ring out the grief that saps the mind. For those that here we see no more. Ring out the feud of rich and poor. Ring in redress to all mankind. Ring out a slowly dying cause, and ancient forms of party strife. Ring in the nobler modes of life, with sweeter manners, purer laws. Ring out the want, the care, the sin, the faithless coldness of the times. Ring out my mournful rhymes, but ring the fuller minstrel in. Ring out false pride in place and blood, the civic slander and the spite. Ring in the love of truth and right, ring in the common love of good. Ring out old shapes of foul disease, ring out the narrowing lust of gold. Ring out the 1,000 wars of old, ring in the 1,000 years of peace. Ring in the valiant man and free, the larger heart, the kindlier hand. Ring out the darkness of the land, ring in the Christ that is to be. And that was In Memoriam by Alfred, Lord Tennyson, which I think is a very, very moving in how his desire to send out the old and bring in the new. But there were some lines he mentions here that I think are worth considering. Whether you might have grief, he wants to see the grief leave, and he certainly knows something about grief, seeing what a hard, difficult childhood he had. He talks about to ring out the old disease, to ring out that lust for gold, but rather and thousands of years of war, and rather bring in 1,000 years of peace. And kind of tying it into imagery of Christ. He wants to see the darkness leave, and he wants to see Christ, the Messiah, the Savior, to come and rid of all the evil and wickedness that's happening, and bring in goodness and light and peace and joy and all the things that we think about of Christmas. It was mentioned in the book we were reading as a book club, and I wanted to read that poem in full to you and encourage you to pick up on that message here, that will you be the one ringing out the old and ringing in what's new. You know, you want to make something Christmassy, add jingle bells to it. So, put on your metaphorical jingle bells and let's see how we as a Christmas loving community can this year spread that message of hope and cheer that comes at Christmas time. So just a couple of poetic thoughts there for you as we head into Thanksgiving week. I know this is going to be a busy week for a lot of you, and I appreciate the time that you have spent with me today. So stay tuned, because on Thursday I will have our Thanksgiving episode drop. I have an interview with Liz Ireland, who is the author of the Mrs. Claus Mystery Series. You won't want to miss that. We get together and we talk Thanksgiving, so you will be in for a good time as you slowly slip into your turkey coma. So I want to thank you so much for listening today. If you would like to help support the podcast, one of the best things you can do is to share it online or rate and review it. That really, truly helps us. There are also some links in the show notes that will take you to our merch store. I've got a couple of hand-painted ornaments still up there, as well as a selection of podcast and Christmas t-shirts. And if you choose to donate on Ko-fi.com, please send me your mailing address and I will get you out a podcast sticker and bookmark as my way of saying thank you for your support. All right. I'll talk to you again on Thanksgiving. Until next time, remember to honor Christmas in our heart, and let's try to keep it all the year. Have a very Merry Christmas.